Good evening in the UK. Good morning here on the Eastern Standard Australian time, and also in New Zealand. I think good afternoon in most parts of North America, and a couple of you, it's a case of good fuck knows when, really. Welcome to the third outing of the company. I immediately well done on gowns. This is my this is free with the hotel. Well, it's not free with the hotel. I don't think I'm allowed to keep it. But in other news, I will be keeping it. Obviously, as usual, microphones on if you can, so that we generate an atmosphere. Or, well, not if you can, if you want to. If you want to, I can. Yes, this has obviously been the result of even more last-minute international collaboration than usual. But we're in safe hands. I don't think anything reassures an audience like, ladies and gentlemen, this was all planned. So I wouldn't have minded if the pilot had said that during my traumatic flight. Anyway, or no, when was it? Thursday. Anyway, yeah, thought I was going to die this week. So welcome everyone. And I think we'll sort of get cracking now. You received a number of emails over the past sort of 24 hours or so. Not everyone's seen the emails. Some of them went to spam folders, and one of the accounts we used has been banned now. So I woke up to that news. Just in case, then, one of them was from the company themselves, describing, well, giving you 4 possible versions of today's tasks. So I'll just quickly recap that. This is in response to an email which, although you might not remember it, you sent asking for a bit more clarification, because it's very sort of nebulous, really. The company's comms need improving, in your opinion. The company wrote this back: thank you for asking for more detail about your assignment. There are 4 replies in this email. 1 has been written by us, 3 generated by AI. We trust you'll be able to spot the real one. After all, it's part of the job. So the first possibility, your mission is to provide covert medical support at a major international event. Your task will be to ensure the safety and well-being of VIPs in attendance. To complete your mission, you'll be sent a boarding pass for a private jet, blah, blah, blah. Unlimited luggage, including medical supplies and equipment necessary for your mission. You'll be required to maintain a low profile and remain undetected throughout the duration of the event. You'll be given a cover identity, and so on. Your success in this mission depends on adapting to changing circumstances and your skill in providing effective medical support while remaining undetected. Should you be captured or compromised, the agency will disavow any knowledge of your actions. Quite sort of fairly convincing sounding, but then all of them are. This is the thing with AI. Possibility 2, Trish's hope. Your mission is to express your emotions and be your fullest self in a larger-than-life manner. This requires you to step outside. Morning, by the way, Trish. I only saw you about 8 hours ago. This mission requires you to step outside your comfort zone and break free from any constraints that may be holding you back, Trish. To complete this mission, you will need to embrace your creativity, tap into your innermost thoughts and emotions. No specific guidelines. You're free to express yourself in any way you see fit, whether you choose to create a masterpiece of art, write a powerful poem. Guy says, I'm suspicious of the wording of some of this one. Yeah, Trish. You are not authorized to disclose any details. Should you encounter any challenges, you may reach out to your designated contact within the agency. You don't know who that is, though, so far. Number 3, your mission is to accomplish the theft of the super GPU being unveiled at the conference you'll be attending. The super GPU, or graphical processing unit, is the key to a range of AI operations. The capture of this item, which is closely guarded and preserved in liquid nitrogen, it will allow us to continue providing the world-class services we offer. Your success will depend on quick thinking, courage, and the mental dexterity to outwit authority. It will give you all possible support, a lot of sort of vague promises of support and someone to reach out to, but also quite a bit of suggestion that if you get caught or captured, you are in difficulty. You'll receive a boarding pass, which includes unlimited, again, baggage provision. Why does this come up in some of them and not others? And you may claim back any reasonable expenses. Good luck. And the final one, your mission is to pose as a dealer to a famous casino, gather crucial intelligence. You'll need to blend in with the casino staff, gain their trust, acquire the necessary skills, maintain your cover identity. Again, keep your cool under pressure. It's fairly obvious that you'll have to keep a low profile. You're a secret operative. They don't call you a well-known operative. Your mission is the utmost secrecy. Once again, cover identity, appropriate attire, some similar strands between all of these possibilities, but only one genuine one. Once again, should you be captured or compromised, the agency, again, not the company, will disavow any knowledge of your actions. Those are your 4 possible missions. Hello?
Hi. Sorry.
Fine. I mean, obviously, I'm up quite early in the morning here, so I pretty much thought that was someone calling me for a moment there. Yeah, exactly. I also thought that was part of it, and we are now going to do something like that in the next episode. Okay. We move on to the emails sent to you by a couple of other characters in the show. I think. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all planned.
Just like 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, like 3 or 4
maybe
seconds.
3.
Oh, it's back to me. Hi, everyone. As well as the free gown. Oh, hang on. Yes. So Francine has also been in touch with an email titled Oscars/head nearly stoved in, etc. Hey, friend, I'm sorry I haven't been in touch since the whole thing about the Oscars. You might remember that last month you didn't exactly save Francine. You inadvertently stopped her from going to the Oscars with your selfishness, but that meant that she was not there when a chandelier fell and killed whoever would have been in Francine's designated seat. Yeah, sorry how many of you, by the way, were surprised and confused and thought you were actually being spammed by sex pests. There we go. We live and learn.
Yes.
Be aware from now on, if you get these sort of emails, anyone from either Francine or Camilla or potentially other characters that have come up, it might, although also it could still be a sex pest because they are out there. Yes, ideally, just take Chris's approach and just reply as you would to another sex pest. You can't close the door on sex, but oh no, that's exactly what you can do. But legally, you shouldn't do that. My head feels kind of. I mean, if you got to as far as my head feels kind of overheated like a George Foreman grill, I'd be surprised if you still thought it was a genuine email. It's amazing to stop me from going, but I feel weirded out. I know that should be weirded, correct spelling, but I'm not going to go back and change it because I need to get this sent to you, although I actually could have done it by now. Anyway, look, take care of yourself wherever you're going next. I'll see you before too long. Francine, brackets the unseen, and 2 kisses. And then on top of that, you had to contend with another email from Camilla, the woman that you very briefly met at security in Heathrow.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I deleted that.
Yes, quite a number
We
of
all
you
deleted that.
these emails.
It liked me. I got excited.
Some recipients saw it as part of the game, others deleted it, others reported it to the police. So we are where we are.
I went on holiday through Heathrow last week with my girlfriend, and she saw that, and I was like, "Oh, I don't remember this happening."
I don't think I remember saying the company will not ruin any relationship. I don't think I've said that about any of my work, actually. For sure, there's been the first No More Jockey divorce by now, I would hope. Yeah, so Camilla was a peripheral character in the last episode, but on your way through Heathrow, you had the opportunity to ask her out, which 35%, in fact, 39% of you decided to do, but it wasn't quite enough, and we left Camilla there pining. So she also emailed you, and hopefully we can bring that email up as well, in case you didn't see it, or in case you deleted it. Not that high level. Here it is. The email's subject was "Love of My Life?" ? Big call from Camilla, who you've only met once. And the email said, "Hey there, my name's Camilla, and we saw each other when I was working at the security gate at Heathrow." Well, I still am. Sorry, tied myself in knots here. Oh, here we are. Thank you, man. Anyway, at the time I was hanging out my arse, not the nicest phrase, because of the dog show. But when we spoke, I thought there was a connection. It felt like you wanted to, I'm being very forward here, ask me out, or at least some of you wanted to, just under 40%. Anyway, just to say, haha, I'm tying myself up in knots here. I know you're flying out through Heathrow again. I'd love to have a proper chat. Camilla, P.S. Do you like honey? So to say the least, a strange email from Camilla, and how she knows that you're coming back through Heathrow is worth thinking about as well. Surely security breach there. Right, okay. So you've had quite a bit to think about in the run up to your assignment, which begins now, I think. Isla loves honey is the latest news. Sean, I don't know whether Camilla does think that you're multiple people. I think she's saying that only 40% of your brain wanted. Well, who knows though? Louis got honey in tea now. Honey in tea. Country for a second. Right. Well, it's been quite a few days in your inbox. It's been like an ant farm in there. An ant farm where the ants are emails. Your brain is crackling with thoughts as the choir sing outside the window to wake you up. Half of you probably don't even remember that. 10% of you have probably cancelled the real choir master this month. All you know is you're going somewhere on a plane to do some sort of deeds. It almost angers you that your new employees are so cagey about everything. It would be nice to know your destination. What have they got to lose? Then there's the strange missive from Francine. Unless it was an astonishing coincidence, it seems like you saved her life by stopping her going to the Oscars. Her head would have been smashed like a piñata in front of Hanks. But if you did somehow save her life, well, that's even more astonishing. That would mean that you had some sort of power you're not conscious of, psychic ability and energy. It seems unlikely. I mean, you're a fucking idiot. No, you're not. You need to break those mental habits. Sure, not long ago, you were a loser who always stank of cheese and got thrown off pointless for sneaking around behind the desk and looking at the answers. But now, well, now you're an international operator, and you did save that man's life in the hotel room. There's no doubt about that. Big things are happening. You wish you could talk to Francine about it, but her email was odd. And on top of that, out of nowhere, this other message from the security woman, Camilla. It's true. There was a moment between you. It felt like only 40% of you wanted it. That was a good line. Maybe you'd click. Hype for people who've been on Pointless, says Gems. I won a trophy last year. Thanks, Gems. I have 3. But you can't be focused on... Sorry. Actually, I only have 2 that have been broadcast. Oh, that was a big spoiler. Yeah. Fine. I'm on soon. I perform spectacularly, we win. But you can't be focused on a romance with a security official whom you spoke to for less than 90 seconds and who almost burst into tears during that time. You need to think about today's mission in the as yet unclear city. You make your traditional breakfast of melon, fish, and hot chocolate. Have a couple of baths. Let's see, shall we? But it's true you should be suspicious of everything, even the stupid sounding details. We've learned that much from the house and the company, surely. Have a couple of baths, do your stretches, paint a watercolor, found a charity. It's been a good first hour of the day, but it's time to get going. That's sort of about how I live, actually. You feel a little uneasy as you shut the door behind you. The company said your flight includes unlimited check-in items. You're carrying your travel bag, your travel sieve, your travel sponge, your travel toasted sandwich maker. You pay the choir and shuffle off towards the port. There's a new airport ferry, which only opened yesterday. You saw the ad. Take it slow. Get a boat to Heathrow. It's aimed for people who want a stressfully long journey. It's a remarkable feat of engineering, given that Heathrow is some way from the sea, but these are modern times. The boat takes you right through the terminal and up to the check-in desk. A man asks for your boarding pass. Here's the boarding pass, and you can see, unusually for a boarding pass, there is a series of question marks where the destination should be. Unhelpful. The man whose whole name appeared on his name badge, Jonathan Plant, screwed up his eyes in puzzlement. I'm doing some acting. Screws up his eyes in puzzlement. Well, he might. Down here in Australia, as well as a comedian, I'm known as an actor. So here I'm just sort of screwing up my eyes. So this mystery destination, I mean, you must know yourself where you're going. You start to sweat. I mean, mystery destination. Plant shakes its arm again. I'm shaking my head. I'm just sort of evoking it. We did used to have a scheme where you just arrived here and took pot luck. Even the pilots were blindfolded, but it was pretty unpopular. He shakes his head again. I mean, he shakes his head perhaps 10 more times. You've never seen head shaking like it, and you used to do salsa. You're sweating like Gandalf. At least give me a country you're going to. You try to think through the sweat. So where are you headed based on what we've seen so far, or based on any other intuitions you might have? Is it Serbia? Is it Australia? Is it France? Or you may vote for, no, none of these. Your first vote. And while you do that, I'll just sort of gather myself a bit. As well as this complimentary gown, I have a coaster which says, kindness suits you. That's nice, isn't it? Anya asks, is Gandalf famous for being sweaty? All that, the facial hair and stuff, and then he's always off on mission. I don't know much about Gandalf. I just think I'd be amazed if he wasn't showering like twice a day. And he's got to be, yeah, I don't know. Right, early lead for no, none of these, which is possible, by the way. There are a lot of countries in the world. You'll know that if you saw me list most of them on Taskmaster while ineptly stacking tin cans. Some support for Australia, Serbia, France, plenty of times, a little bit Eurovision-y this go. There's, well, this is, I don't know, is it gettable? It's certainly possible. But yeah, not an easy one to start you off. I think it is important that you get it, obviously, because he seems almost too dusty to be sweaty. There we go. Interesting sub-talking point. Is he sweat? Yeah, Daniel says nobody washes. They all look sort of grubby, but sort of clean. A bit like at a festival, I suppose. In a way, Lord of the Rings is an enormous festival with no headliners. It was 6 cans, Sarika, because I'm not very good at sort of, I am very good at geography, but I'm not very good at stacking. And that combination of skills was brutally exposed by that task. One of my favorite tasks, actually, that one to look back on, although people don't often talk about it. Strange day, that was also involved being up to your tits in a lake and doing that thing with the twiglet and the jelly, which is also one of my favorites. Remarkable day, actually, of task that, but I'd only been back 2 weeks from the island. I was emaciated, and Alex asked, are you all right? So if you watch closely on those outdoor tasks and taskmasters, you can see that I look slightly different from the rest of them because it's filmed out of sequence. Maybe he has a dust bath like a chinchilla, says Bex. At last, someone's talking about chinchillas around here. Right, we're having a chinchilla in the next episode. I've forgotten about chinchillas. My eccentric grandma had chinchillas, and then she also got a parrot, but it bit her nose, and that was the end of that. I mean, they didn't kill it, but they got shot of it, I think, and in the end, the chinchillas died, because animals do die, because everything does. So, still, yes, that's right. Francine's surname is Ton, which is tuna in French, as it happens. Coincidence? Of course not. No, I'm writing this. She's not real, or is she? Well, some of you thought she was real enough to get our Google account taken down. Yeah. As it stands, still a lead. Helen says a parrot once bit me and laughed. Yeah, they're nasty fuckers. You know. Oh, I can talk. I'm gonna bite you. That's basically it. She shouldn't have got the parrot, though. I don't mean you, Helen. I mean my grandma. She didn't really know what she was doing. She in that period, she was really racking them up like Doolittle, but she didn't have Doolittle's communication skills. Still alive, my grandma, but it's years not looking so good. No, she doesn't know it's not looking so good. It's one of those situations. We're nearly there, I think. It looks as if you're going to vote to not go to Serbia, nor to Australia, which I thought people might guess because that's where I currently am. Famously, I've had the good fortune to see 2 or 3 of you over the past. In fact, somebody brought some art related to the company. I don't know if you're here, but I have it here to show the audience. If you are. Anyway, we'll come to that. It was amazing. It refers to something which many of you won't remember, probably. Serbia, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you've got that from, but it's quite often the one you don't expect, isn't it? The votes are about to close, and it looks as if you're going to go to, you say we remember everything, Gro. Well, I hope so, because there's, again, quite a lot of things. Sometimes the answers do relate to things which came up in previous episodes. It is quite, oh, there she is. Anna in the chat box brought a beautiful zebra related piece of art to my show in Canberra on Monday, because she remembered me repeatedly saying things like zebras are hot, zebras are fit during one of my strange which I stand by. But having said all this about how it's important to remember the details, I myself couldn't remember what she was talking about when she thrust a zebra at me. But she's right. And I'll dig that out for you shortly. I've been taking it around with me. No, none of these, you say. Plants' eyes narrow until they're more than shitty old cocktail sticks. right in there. Look, none of what? Nothing. You say. Look, you pulling my dick? He asks. Or is there an answer? So actually, it looks like it is one of these: Serbia, Australia, or France. And I think I can tell you at this point that the answer, we've already gone past it. Like, it is embedded in one of the tweets we've already had. Sometimes he embeds them. Old Inbedo strikes again.
Buddy.
Inbedo is how Australians would describe me an hour ago, actually, but now I'm awake-o, and much so. Well, actually, I was already awake an hour ago because of that thing where you know the alarm is coming and then your body goes, we've got a gap early. What about if it was even earlier than that? How? I didn't mind. The sun was rising. It's beautiful out there, but as I say, I think it will be too bright if I show you. I'm staying right by the Story Bridge, one of my top bridges in the world, and shortly I will fly to Melbourne, something which I'm not looking forward to doing because of my death this week. No, I didn't actually die, just I think phrases significant plain problemos, SPPs. We'll come on to that. No, by embed, Anya, I don't. All I mean is there are significant verbal clues in one of the. You know how I sometimes do that. Like sometimes it's the first letter of everything spells out, or this sort of business, sneaky business. Sometimes in the company there's sneaky business. I make no apologies for that. So we're down to Serbia, Australia, and France. They're verbal clues. That's right, Greg. Yes, when I say we've gone past it, I just mean it's been possible to guess it from. But you'd have to be at the time. You would have been. Mayan says it's way too late. It's of course I'd forgotten that some people are also behind us in Australia, but ahead of UK time. So for Mayan, it must be what 10:30. You 2 hours on top of everything. Of course, the fucking. I apologise for my French, but the fucking. I've said it again. But the bloody clocks are going to change in the UK, I believe, tomorrow, which makes the time difference that another mental step for me. And on top of that, the clocks will then change here in another week's time, and at that point it becomes it's just a total fuck fest. Yes. God, midnight for my. Sorry, pal, you're not too stupid for any of it, Anya. This is all complete nonsense. I mean, it makes sense, it's internal sense, but this is not 2 a.m. from. Oh yes, the clocks move in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm just going to trust my phone to do it. Someone says that now 2 of you have guessed things based on when flights leave Heathrow in real life on that boarding pass, which is impressive, but not correct, but good. If you guessed Australia based on the idea that because the boarding pass, sure enough, indicated a late evening leaving time, which is the sort of time places go. Serbia was just bollocks. It is France, by the way. We're fine.
Hey.
Yeah, on top of everything else, as Trish says, some parts of Australia do mess about with the clocks and some don't. So here in Brisbane, we should be on the time that Melbourne is if you look at the map, but we're not because of selective dipping about. But there are 5 different time zones in Australia, or 6 or something. And I've been in, I think, 4 of them this week. Absolutely normal life, totally fine. What was the France clue? You'll see in a moment, Louis, my inquisitive friend. That's mad. Arizona doesn't change its clocks, but everywhere else does. Right, we'll come on to it. Yeah. France, it has to be. Yes. It's hardly escaped your knowledge that in your interior monologue earlier, the French towns Angers, Toulouse, and Nice all cropped up. Yes, it angers you. They have nothing to lose. It would be nice. There you go. Yeah, I think that's quite easy by the standards of the company. Just basically, don't listen to anything I'm saying. Just analyze the text.
And Francine is in France.
France, that's true, but that's sort of a constant. I don't know if Francine can go down to France. We don't understand what Francine's. Camille says niche French cities clues. Yeah, the old NFCCs. Everyone loves a bit of that. I've only been to one of those. Which one? Nice, you would think. Nope, Angers in the end. French exchange. You couldn't have been more surprised if Plant had produced a stick of celery and pretended to suck it off. So, again, some of this was written early in the morning, some of it late at night. You'll be able to see which one. You've never been to Monaco. You've never even heard of it, or even used the letter M. It's bad luck in your family. You're the French exchange to Lyon. That's fancier than Angers, but that must be where they're sending you. Yes, that's right. You bluff. At Monaco, the Grand Prix, the world's biggest soft cheese, and so on. I wrote 2 more of them, but they weren't. There was no point. It was stupid. That's why your character suddenly says, and so on instead. Jonathan Plant hands back your pass. It now says Monaco. It's not until you're walking through security you remember Camilla. There she is, just as you remember her. Pigtails, a fedora, and then another hat on top of that. She lights up like a candle at the sight of you, a horny candle. Oh my God, I wasn't sure if you'd come, she says. I feel like the world moves a little on its axes when we meet. Try to remember that phrase, I would, but not for this episode, so it doesn't matter, you could have forgotten it. This, we have done quite a bit of forward planning this time. It really is, it's almost as if this is a proper thing. This feels extremely forward, given you've only seen this woman once. Still, she has a lovely nose and a necklace. The main things you need. How are you, you say? I'm hanging out my arse, says Camilla. Same thing you used last time. It was the Honey Expo last night, so obviously I'm a wee bit delicate. The Honey Expo, she says, you've not been? I haven't, you admit. Oh, you've got to. It's all the big honey makers worldwide. You can try it. You can meet the bees. Hey, they're putting on an extra night next week because of overwhelming demand. Would you maybe? It's happening. This intriguing woman with her top-level nose and earthy charm is inviting you to a premium honey event. It's exactly how you imagine things might go. But is this madness? What are you going to do? You now have the options. Take me to the honey. I'll text from Monaco, which is like, I suppose the phrase is friend zoning here a bit. It's not for me. You walk away altogether. Or who put that there? Bang on the carousel. Okay. And once again, it doesn't look as if I've underestimated the horniness level in the group to judge from the.
Oh, I just thought it meant hit the carousel.
No, sorry, it means have sex on the carousel. I keep enjoying the company.
So did I.
No.
My mind is too clean.
Yes.
Who knows? Look, quite often the clues are not what they seem. It might indeed mean smash on the carousel, which would be a real curveball and would probably get you into trouble. So, yeah, exactly. It could, it could well be. I don't know what's going to happen. All I can say is that it looks like it's between the Honey Expo and some sort of carousel activities as we speak. Having sex with probs get you in trouble, says Tom. You're wonderful. You're always on buses.
I know.
Is he banging on buses?
We don't have any proof that Tom has banged on a bus, but I met
We
Tom.
don't have proof he hasn't.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
I don't have any proof that any of you have not had sex in any locations, and I'm starting to think that I don't need proof. I've also met Tom on this trip. Of course, I met Tom in Adelaide. He wasn't on the bus; he was standing up like a normal man. I've met Tom, Anna, Trish. I think, yeah, I've actually met 4 of you on this trip, which is, oh yeah, see if I can find the old. Possible I could find the zebra art, top up my coffee, and be back. Now I know some people have worry about me when I stand up in a dressing gown.
That's why we're here.
This is what we might call the ghosts of the past. I don't know. The poll is ending. Christ, and look how tight it is. It's a toss-up, if I may use that phrase, between the honey and the this is as close as the infamous cry-wank poll, at least on paper. If you're new to this, some of it, well, yeah, I just hang in.
You get the decide and vote.
Well, the thing is, often they appear to be that tight, but when it actually comes up, one of them, because it's always slightly behind, isn't it? So let's see, let us see. Chrissy, who are all these wusses not voting for banging on the carousel? Chrissy, very much as you see her on Twitter. It still says poll ending. This is exciting stuff. Yes, if Matt has to do a sort of miracle thing where he combines 2 of them again, then God help us all. Either way, we're ready.
Drum roll.
Only one. If you'd voted it's not for me, you were just going to walk away and leave her heartbroken, and it was just a really sad bit. So well done for not doing that. There was just a bleak bit. There's another bleak bit coming up, which you will hopefully sidestep.
Is that after we've banged on the carousel?
I can't comment on that. Oh, it looks as if Honey has a narrow lead over the banging, actually, perhaps surprisingly. But Il says Paul Ending. This is really tense. Carmela says, I'm disowning everyone who voted for honey. That's interesting. Even though the name Carmela sort of, I would say evokes honey in some ways, perhaps because it sounds a bit like caramel. Which is not the same as honey.
Yeah, and mellifluous.
Yes, that's right. Mellifluous. Lovely. And yes, Melis, of course, is the Welsh for honey, isn't it? But we haven't, doesn't matter.
And the French, miel.
Miel, you're right. Yeah. Interesting. Why is our word for honey derived from a different? Oh, look at this. It does look like a tie. It looks like 43 each. They've both gone blue. They've both gone blue.
Oh my good lord.
It's now in the lap of to gods what happens. This is it looks like I don't know. It keeps flashing between a lead for honey and a tie. This is brilliant.
Banged on the carousel covered in honey.
Well, this is the thing. We managed to cry-wank it thanks to some wizardry by Matt, but I don't know what we do here. I'm just gonna, it's Duncan's absolutely right to say it's down to the wire. This is fascinating stuff. This is you always hope the polls will be this close, but sometimes it's obvious how to vote. This time I'd say it was far from obvious with these two intriguing choices. Okay, let's
say
see.
final results. Oh no!
Well, this is the thing. It keeps saying final results. On mine, it keeps going back and forth between. This is Bush and Gore territory. It's going to come down to a tiny handful of people.
When there are 127 votes, yeah, that's 127 is the highest number of votes it's gone to.
Yes, so 127 looks like the definitive. We're hearing that honey is. If this was politics, honey would be claiming victory. But
but has Carousel conceded?
There's 146 people on here. So
the carousel headquarters are still also claiming victory. But here we go. Christ. Yes, you've gone for honey. By God. I'd be enchanted, you say. To attend a honey symposium is the greatest thrill. You're surprised. Where you are. Winner, yells Camilla and sticks her tongue in your mouth. She's very sort of weird, isn't she, Camilla? My God, I can't let you out of my sight. Camilla is an emotional person, you sense. I don't want you to go to Monaco. Stay here with me. I'll get you a job. Get me a job? Yeah, scan with me, sex dog. We'll have such a lovely time detecting batteries and liquids, and we'll have so much honey. Camilla's eyes implore you. She's everything you ever wanted, nice and employed. And not long ago, when you were doing the midnight to 7 a.m. shifts at Emergency Cheeses, packing up life-saving cheese for delivery, you'd have killed for this job. But surely your loyalty now is to the company. Where is she finding these batteries, Deirdre? Well, sometimes people smuggle in those large batteries, which are not allowed. So you now have, remarkably, the choice to, once again, as you did with the cat sitting thing, the choice to duck out of your mission altogether. Monaco mission, so in other words, you stick to your guns, quit, work at Heathrow. That involves you starting a new life at the airport. Take her with you, a curveball. You try and get her to come with you. Or, thank you, Alex, your input is invaluable. Or as we've all done in stressful situations, you can pretend to faint. Once again, a vote for you. This time I am going to grab the more coffee and zebra double combo, I think.
You need to angle the camera up.
The thing is, crucially, I have underwear under this because no one can say Mark Watson is not a guy that lives and learns.
Nips are out though.
Out in force.
Oh, burned into the old skull.
All right, Alex, imagine being high in. I've had partners see less of my dick than that fella.
It's nice to have Mark not having to rely on the floor to get his wireless connection.
Yeah.
I've seen better curtains, to be fair. You should see this light that he's got there. It's nuts.
Have you got the zebra picture?
Yep.
And by light, Alex, do you mean the sun?
No, that one's shit.
Nice.
Look at
zebra
that.
is hot.
Oh wow!
Imagine,
wow!
Imagine you
Is
come
it
out
a
of a
zebra
show.
unicorn?
That's right. It isn't just a zebra. It's a hybrid of No More Jockeys and Taskmaster
Nice.
company tropes. Absolutely amazing, Anna. And
Awesome work, Anna.
Anna, hi in the box, please. Is that the Is that the only animal-themed fan art I've been given after an Australian show this week? Nope. Somebody gave me a heron, same fiddly. Want to see the heron? Yes.
Yes.
This I don't think this person is here, but it's there you go. You can see it's got a taskmaster skull saying, it's unbelievable stuff. Again, completely normal life.
You stick them on the fridge like your kids' drawings?
I might not be the most popular comedian in the world, but I am probably the one that gets the most animal-related art after their shows. Oh man, this is all I ever wanted. I remember when I was a kid, comedian hanging out with Minchin, and he'd get some really troubling shit given to him after shows, and then finally I have that life. But my stuff is all lovely, whereas his would be like cakes with stuff in to try and knock him out. So among Minchin's fans, there's far more of a kind of far more people out and out trying to sleep with him. And I'm aware there is some overlap between my fan base and Minchin's, because I leached quite a bit of mine off him in the previous decade. So quite a big lead, not surprisingly, here for taking Camilla with you to Monaco, which would be a further twist. This is the longest it's taken in an episode to actually get to. You're right, by the way, Tom. Quitting feels like a dead end in a choose your own adventure, and it is. You're not going to go for that because it's only 2%. But if you'd gone for that, I love to mention as well. By the way, obviously, yes, if you'd gone for that, there was just a bit where it says you leave the company, you work at Heathrow, you and Camilla start a family, you live together for 29 years, and it's more or less fine. And then it would have ended. And I was going to just make it like I was just going to leave then. We probably would have restarted, but you'd have had to. Of course, in the house, you died that time and still came back. We love to play around. We love fun, don't we? Oh, you've got to have fun. Yes, pretending to faint would have you'd have hit your head on the edge of the carousel and been taken to first aid, where another stupid bit would have happened.
That's banging on the carousel, but with your head.
That's right. Bang on the carousel was just going to be a sex scene on the carousel, but what can I say? You didn't quite go for that. It wasn't necessary to the plot. Why don't you come with me? You turn the tables. What a move. Gasp, says Camilla. But love, I can't do that. It's a Saturday. We nearly always get a bomb. I'd be in such trouble if I swan off to Monaco like the Pope. Maybe she thinks you'll back down, but you carry on towards departures. My love, says Camilla, sob. This is as sharp as the sting of 100 bees, 1,000, 10,000 bees. Wail. You carry on, head down, heart full, tits normal. It's a real on-off relationship with Camilla. The flight is uneventful, as flights with the company will tend to be. There will never be any action aboard a plane during the company. As I say, this week I was in a flight which was not only affected by thunderstorms, which I do not like, but in which there was heavy turbulence, which I do not like, and which then made an emergency landing, which I did not like. So plane fun is not going to happen. You suck some tuna balls, read Persuasion, listen to some Robert and the Very Bad Dogs, browse the 1994 Oscars list, and watch The Man with No Knees. Any clues in that? Yeah, maybe. You've landed in Monaco. Mono-fucking-co. Fucking Monaco. Monaco. Fuck. The sea is shimmering, crisscrossed by handsome boats. It's like an ant farm, but the ants are luxury yachts. You honestly want to shake your bits around. This was late at night. You've got to focus. You go straight through the airport onto a bus which says AI conference of some sort. It's so good to be out of the rain, to feel the sun on your skin again. However, the bus driver has a clipboard. Clipboards are never good news. You had to do boring questionnaires on school trips. Your restaurant was shut down by that health inspector, even though you'd hidden the mice in your pockets. Ding wants to hit you with the clipboard. Can I have your name, Master Driver? No, I need it, you say, and then realise what she means. Can't be your real name, because whatever you're doing, we know it's undercover. What name would the company have you under? Surely it'll be the name you first approached them under when you were still being cautious in case the cheese boss found out. And that name is what you used for your first ever email address, your granddad's name, which was, of course, Romeo W. Chips, Morris Flowerdew, Blaze Hamper, or Alan Michelangelo. What was your granddad's name with which you set up your email address and which you're going to use as a cover name here at this AI conference of some kind? This is the chance for me to collect the coffee, which some of you will have, regular fans will have been making. Romeo W. Chips, Morris Flowerdew, Blaze Hamper, Alan Michelangelo. Yeah, is right.
Sorry.
I don't think I ever said it wouldn't be a case of.
Don't usually think on a Saturday night.
Well, look, it's Sunday morning here, and I wouldn't say I'm exactly thinking either. Oh. We've just got a minor issue with the plane. They said, "Oh, cool, glad we're in the sky," and it's very minor. They said minor issue like way too many times for it to be true, and we're just gonna be rerouted down to Brisbane, where an engineer can get on the plane. And that was the worst thing. They brought an engineer on, and then we fucking took off all over again in the same death plane. Anyway, absolutely fine.
I was on a plane where they said we're going to have to turn around and go back to Southampton because the door won't stay shut.
Wow.
Again, you love the doors to stay shut. You really do in these situations.
I think child locks should apply.
Slightly, well, as I look at it, slightly from Morris Flowerdew, but look at this. This is as tight as balls. All four of them with support in the 20s. Yeah, they all have M's, which is strange, isn't it? Because M's were unlucky in your family. And that's because there was meant to be one without an M, but I changed my mind and went for something funnier. So this doesn't work, actually. So you're just going to have to guess. I can see that now. Daniel asked what would we have done if we quit. Well, again, you would have, I guess we would have rebooted the whole story with a new, you'd have had to try and get a job with the company all over again. Yeah, that's a shame, actually. I didn't realize that. I changed it at the last minute. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway, fine. You might just fluke it, but if not, we'll give it to you. Or will we? Or we make you guess again? I don't know.
It's all planned. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was all planned. Oh, dear me. Let's have a quick look at the... Hang on. Oh, yeah, no, fine. Fine. Really tight, because they're all quite... I'm impressed that Liz is wearing a dressing gown in Brazil, is it? 30 degrees. It's probably about 25 degrees here, but it's not that warm in this air-conditioned room. After this, I'm obviously going to go and have a little walk before my flight, but I'll put clothes on. It looks like a narrow lead for Romeo W. Chips. Jodie says, I'm writing a choose your own adventure at the moment. There's more to it than you imagine. It's fucking right, there is, Jodie. The problem is you have to, maybe it's obvious, but for every possibility, you have to write an entirely separate set of things. And sometimes you join them up. Sometimes you make people go down particular channels, but sometimes not. I wrote a whole thing with sex on a carousel, which will never see the light of day now, or will it? Something tells me Camilla is not quite out of the game yet, but it's frustrating, isn't it? It's difficult to have a relationship with someone that you only ever see them when they're checking your bags for explosives. Lydia says Romeo W. Chips seems like the one you've changed for it to be funnier, and she's right. It was okay. Well, they're right. I should say. I don't think it was pronounced.
Maurice has rice in, and
yes,
time is rice.
That's also true. Yes, but you might be overthinking my clothes. Although, in a sense, you can never overthink these things because some of the clues do rely on such incredibly top tip: stick to one linear adventure and become a novelist. Fuck yeah, right, sounds easy. My name, Romeo H. Chips, you say grandly. Pretty easy one. Couldn't be a name with the letter M in it with your family tradition, but it was in the end. Why did they change it? Why did they change it? It's difficult. It's too difficult writing the company. The driver gives you a thumbs up, turns the clipboard round. There aren't even any names on it. Just a picture of Donald Duck giving a thumbs up and the slogan, "You're a really quacking bus driver." It's nice, that validation. You're in a good mood as you rumble down Monaco Road to the Monaco 2. You know, sometimes we have local colour in these things, like with Brussels. As you're getting up to leave the bus, you do a double take and then a single take, so 3 in total. Everybody else is, so that's like, there you are, 3 takes. Everybody else is changing into a dressing gown. Luckily, you packed yours as always. You keep calm and put it on. Thanks for the acting, kudos. I'm just on great. I'm on hot form. There's a real buzz around this event. A huge banner says, "Welcome to AI conference of some kind, 2020." Logos of various sponsors, including Hook and Hearn, Dirty Mums Publishing, Apple, and SpongeBob SquarePants brand. You wander, enjoying the cutting edge face of AI. A robot serves you a taco and compliments your hair. You go to the toilet, and before you've got your area out, a robot has done a wee for you. You text your mum, meet the robot. But you need to get down to business. You are here for one of the 4 things the company emailed you about: to steal some sort of AI chip, to express yourself well, to impersonate a croupier, to do medicine. Which is it though? Stealing, dealing, or feeling? Chrissy says not loving area. I apologize, Chrissy, but it's not easy to generalize about how people urinate while continuing the gender neutral stroke fluid nature of the. Sometimes I use downstairs friends, but that phrase can be overused. It can't be overlooked. It shouldn't be overlooked.
The carriage.
And it rules out the people who aren't friends with
worse,
them.
if anything. You can't start saying things like undercarriage. Ryer asks, is this the audio? I don't think Nether Regions is any better either, Trish, to be honest. You see, when you start talking about those, it is actually more complicated than you think. Yes, I think sounds right to overrule that. Quite a lot of support for stealing. Also quite a lot of, well, yeah, in fact, huge lead for stealing. Interesting. Obviously, it would make sense. This is an AI conference of some kind. Where have I put my, hang on, yeah. Yeah, there are clues. There are clues, although it looks like, yeah, fine. Peter Hook was in Monaco, no? Says Matt Woods, referring to the New Order bassist who formed a band called Monaco and who was married to Carolina Hearn, yes, the other half of that brand name. And all that was a really complicated clue, which in the end I did not use, but well done, Matt. Because I thought no one would ever remember Monaco, who only had 1 hit. But, well, there were a couple of reasons. I actually, the main reason is when I looked into it a bit, their marriage was quite bad, and it didn't sit right quite. We all have fond memories of Caroline Hearn. Anyway, I didn't use it, but I did spend half an hour on their Wikipedia pages. Yes, everyone bangs on about electronic. It's strange, isn't it, Chris? Some of these super groups just take and some of them don't. It looks like it's going to be stealing, which will lead you to, well, there'll be consequences, but there's always consequences. That's what we learn. Then you can make ice cream with the liquid nitrogen. I suppose you could do, Melanie. We can all make ice cream with liquid nitrogen, I suppose. Now, what happens here? Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, 1 second. Anyone want to guess? This is a bit like Noah Jockeys, isn't it? Anyone want to guess the shape of my room key? Guess the shape of my room key.
Octagon.
E-shape.
A cross.
Zebra.
Dodecahedron.
Unicorn mug.
Mobius strip.
Number of guesses in the chat. And the answer is
Pyramid.
Undercarriage.
It's a circle in the end. What the fuck? I know. It's just, I mean, it looks like an absolute piss take, but sure enough, you press that on the door opens, and I'm there. Well,
The
unless
body
it's
of Christ.
Isn't it insane?
Amen.
Which really, it does look a lot like a communion way for you, right? I almost certainly will pop it in my mouth when I check out.
Colour cold.
It's. I would agree. It's more of a fob than a key, but technically, it is. Well, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird, is what it is.
It's a coin.
you can squeak "it's a coin" as much as you want. The hotel have made a decision. You have a nasty feeling that the message instructing you to someone says, "Please administer the Eucharist to us." And of course, because of my odd churchy background, I could easily recite the, but we don't have time. I nearly got Alex and Tim married that time. You've a nasty that the message instructing you to steal a GPU is the real one, or was the real one. It seems the most obviously congruent with that's a nice word, Chakravarti, with the you know how sometimes he stops mankind to announce there's been a nice word. Fucking what's a nice word? Anyway, it's coming back soon. And spoiler, there are some words in it again. It seems the most congruent, commensurate would have probably been a better word for it, but nonetheless, with what you understand the company's aims to be. The thing is, stealing things, sometimes there's a message in the company, is not really allowed. You're working without briefings from a boss. You still couldn't really say in detail what the company does. You seem to have responsibility for affecting the course of events unrelated to you. Now you're considering a crime. It really is enough to make a cat laugh, and you don't mean that in a good way. Still, if this is your path, well, you can't just go straight in and try and steal this priceless AI component. You surely need to do a practice theft first. You look around, there's a woman with her phone dangling out of her bag. There's also a middle-aged man with a wallet in his back pocket precariously. A billionaire entrepreneur goes by with a tiny dog trotting some way behind. You can also see about 50 gold bars by the taco place, just in a pile. So, what are you going to try and steal as a warm-up? The phone I can get. I'll steal the pet. The wallet, I bet. Or the gold. Doesn't rhyme. Steal the dog, screams Lily from France.
The bullion set.
Yeah, I suppose I could have gone for bullion set, but not everything has to rhyme, does it? I'm not a guy that endlessly and compulsively rhymes things. Everyone knows that.
Gold's going to be too heavy, surely.
You think the gold would weigh you down? You think a dog would come with complications? I don't know. But of course, it's difficult, isn't it? Again, because all of this stuff is, yeah, you certainly did spend years hefting cheese. You're right, Carmela. You're not in bad shape.
Don't take all the gold.
I'm just having a look down faces while we do this. It's nice to see some gowns still intact, including in situations where, and climates where they clearly shouldn't be. Hello. Hello. Someone's just waved him. I'm looking at 5 of you. You don't know which 5. I'm looking at 5 more. You don't know which 5. But one of them's Lydia. I'm looking at 5 of you. You don't know which 5. I'm looking at 5 of you. You don't know which 5. But one of them is Tracy. I'm looking at 5 of you. You don't know which 5. One of them's Camille. You, and so on. God, it's lots of you. I'm looking at 5 of you. I don't know which 5. One of them, Eloise. I'm looking at 5 of you. I don't know which 5, but one of them's just perhaps deliberately wandered out of frame. And they're looking at 5 of you. You don't know which 5, but one of you is called Bethan. And up we go, back to the top of the gallery. So now a small lead for I'll steal the pet. I don't know whether that was based on Lily's putting in capitals, steal the dog, but it looks as if Lily has some influence over the group. I'm looking at 5 of you. One of them has the name of a famous novelist.
No, that's not me.
Not you, no, Susan Hill. God, it's tight, isn't it? There's Richard. I didn't know Richard was here. Richard from, have you completed your travels in Asia, Richard, or are you still?
I have indeed. Yeah, I've done my company business over there and I've returned.
Absolutely excellent. Welcome back. I can see Lily smirking at the potential dog theft. What an agitator. I'm looking at 5 of you. One of them's almost in complete darkness. So pretty tight between the, it looks like the pet and the gold are currently the 2 most seen as the 2 most viable thefts. Here we go, I think. Oh no, still a minute to go. And in fact, it still could be any of them apart from the phone, which was quite a boring one. So you're right to avoid that. Yeah, there's always slightly more participants than votes. There's always a gap. There's always a few people that either don't vote or maybe it just doesn't catch them in time. Not everyone's on Twitter, of course. It's perfectly possible to play this without being on Twitter. There are lots of reasons. Also, yeah, some people, well, anyway, yeah, there are some interesting things about these stats. I'll say that much. A lot of things are interesting. Actually, I'll also say that much. I don't just mean about this. I just mean in general, lots of things are interesting. Like, music, countries, women, loads of things are interesting. I think. That's not even all of them. Books, space, loads of things are interesting. I don't know, like, shut up about it. I saw you, Alison, in Bolton. I had a little awful phrase, a little peer at you earlier. You're right, Matt. It's a good idea for a podcast. Hi, I'm Mark Watson, and this is music, countries, women. Today we're going to talk about Ash, Croatia, and Renée Zellweger. I'm liking this already, actually.
Part in between Manchester City penalties.
Brahms, Bosnia, and Scarlett Johansson. Why is it always actors? There are loads of much more interesting women. Compound. Right, it looks like I'll steal the pet. Don't think it'd be Michael. I'd need a different co-host, one that was more. Well, you could even get a woman. I don't know. Can you have women in podcasts? Don't know. Hasn't been done yet.
I only lose.
It's gone too far the other way already. Hey, doggy, you hiss. Hey, I don't know how you speak to dogs. Hey, good doggy, come here. The dog turns around and addresses you in a human voice. It looks like you're trying to steal me. Would you like any help with that? The dog was a fucking robot. You can't relax in this AI conference. What now? After that practice run, do you still think stealing this processor is the way to go? Or are you reconsidering now that you've had a taste of the crime life? You think again of the parallel universe options from the email. So you can either double down on the stealing, or perhaps it's dealing. I might like healing. I have such strong feelings. All of these are viable options, or you can continue to steal. Well, yeah, I won't lead you except to say that if you choose one of the other ones, I think you might well still end up trying to do a steal. So if you want, you can explore some of the other story pathways, but you don't have to. That's the great thing. You never have to do any of it. In fact, you don't have to play. None of us has to be doing this. We just are. Amazing, isn't it? Why? You don't like, none of this is, they can't get you if you don't do it, but we are doing it.
It's our job.
It's our job. It's our job. It's our job. What would happen if none of us, if literally no one voted, then it would come down to just Alex, and then you'd be sorry.
I'm very sorry.
But except I suppose me and Matt would vote as well. I don't know what you'll do here. But yeah, they're all quite fun things to have a go at, I think. Can I outsource my life decision to Alex, please? You definitely don't want to do that, Katie. Yes, that's a good idea. The band America, and Miss America. That'd be great. Do that for Independence Day. Looks like fuck off, we still steal is reasonably commanding lead. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, look, remember what they say, nothing has ever gone wrong with theft. Is that what they say? They can, I suppose. They should. We're nothing if not tenacious. Yeah, I think Sam raises an important point. Anything that's in capitals, especially with a swear, does tend to win these polls. It's worth me remembering that. There's a long history of yeah. You can sort of say anything really, I suppose, Louis. Yeah, apart from if you're silenced, which I haven't been yet actually, because not many of my views are objectionable. Not many. I'll probably get shut down at some point. Yeah, well, we're going to continue to play this, but it does look like Matt wants you to do dealing because he did a fancy bit for that. I want you to do feeling because I did a fancy bit for that. But you don't need to do any fancy bits. You don't need to. You can just that's the thing. As I said, part of the, every now and again I see this dog waving at me. Hi Dorian. No, that's Chris. You're a man. It's not like Shakespeare when you say this dog. We seems to really be pricks, said Sarika. That's one of the most accurate comments so far, I think, actually. Yeah. Alex says, Dorian, you've got to start training the thing so you don't have to make it wave. Yeah, same as with kids. After a bit, you have to do their own thing. 6 years I was making Kit wave like that, and in the end I just told him to learn it himself. I'm still using Rose as a puppet. Too much hard work getting them to actually do stuff. I didn't think I'd train my kids. Oh, you got kids now, have you, Alex? Blimey, I've been away a while. Yeah, that's right. You did murder a guy for challenging you to play rock, paper, scissors in the house. There's certainly there's a side to you, isn't there, as a character?
We should be in jail.
You should be in jail. One episode you will be, I predict. You've already done enough trying to break out of things. The whole of the house was that. Okay, well, we'll just see it out, but it looks as if you're proceeding to. If you do carry on to the theft, there's going to be a technically interesting bit, which we'll see how it goes. All right. What was the feelings bit going to be? You'll never know, Levi. That's the thing. There are these. Unless I recycle it, but it would be difficult to actually because it was quite specific to this episode. Although we'll see. Actually, we'll see. We could put it out as extra content in between the episodes, but God knows every time we do that, you try and get us shut down. Content. It won't be from someone called Camilla. I've learned my lesson from that. I don't see what's at all suspicious about Mart spending most of the last couple of weeks setting up puppet email accounts for us to scam you. Oh man, I suppose there are so many more potentially illegal applications of doing like multiple email addresses than the simple truth, which is that we're running a choose your own adventure style game and it's necessary to confuse people with multiple emails. There are loads of non-innocent reasons to pretend to be called Camilla and Francine at the same time. If only more people doing things like this, hey? And actually, no, that's the last thing we want. You see someone is walking around. H. Tovel is walking around in the tradition of Tom. Hello there, H. I hope your walk's going well. I think I do remember you saying that actually. Yeah, Francine's went to spam, but Camilla's didn't, even though Camilla's was the one with more sort of sexy suggestion in. Francine merely used the phrase head stoved in like a pinata. So I don't know what like spam filters are famously capricious, aren't they? Anyway, as I say, we've learned. Oh, right, Anya's says Camilla says some people got Francine, some people got Camilla. Interesting. It must just be different firewall settings within different email providers. Capricious, good word. All right, Michael. Right, let's the first time I learned that word was when there was an eccentric football manager who said football is a capricious taskmaster after losing a game to Norwich. And that was also the first time I heard the word taskmaster. I was 9. And these days we hear that word every day, but we don't hear the word capricious or caprice that often. Caprice. I heard it in a French pop song.
First time I've heard Norwich today.
First time I've heard Norwich. You always hear Norwich. I haven't heard anyone talk about Norwich for a bit. Here we go. I think we're done here. Oh, hello. Right. Matt's gone rogue. Right, in that case, we're fucking doing feelings as well. Yeah, well, you're not quite ready to steal. So for some reason you can't put your finger on. You're going to start thinking that democracy has no real function.
It's all planned.
You're not quite ready to steal. So for some reason that you can't put your finger on, which once again reminds you of the 2000 American election, you decide to go for dealing. All right, pal. Well, I was asleep when this was going on, so good luck to you. There's a full blackjack table missing its dealer. I know what this is, but I was also trying to eat while he was explaining this. Now's your chance. You slide into position, confident AF. You may notice a slight change in narrative tone for reasons that you can't put your You deal 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. That is a very Watson time. Uncanny when people start writing accurately in your comic style. He will have got a robot to do that, though. You've seen Ryer at work. Pick a card, but don't tell me which. You're barely smirking. Okay, so the Queen of Hearts, the King of Friends, the Jack of Friends, the Jack of Diamonds, the Queen of Friends, and the King of Hearts. I'll read your mind and make your card disappear. You're doing your best Paul McKenna impression. You miss him. Help you get into smoking. All right, I did a joke. If you don't know who Paul McKenna is, he's a famous hypnotist, and he's noted for making people quit smoking, of course, as well as he cured Gary Delaney's phobia of flying recently. Anyway, but he wouldn't have been much use on the plane this week. You say before moving on to Shazam, and then bingo, and the card is gone. Look at that.
Wow.
Whichever card you're thinking of, it's gone. Magic. You nailed the trick. People can't believe it. They go ape in the chat box / at the table. McKenna would love this. You fancy a cigarette. By the way, smoking is bad, is it? I don't know if they're still doing that. Anyway, you fancy a cigarette. That's spelled wrongly. Is that a clue? No, I doubt it. Wait, says the astute gentleman before explaining the trick in excruciating detail. I can see Zoe going apeshit there. Hi, Zoe. Hope the camera's all right today. A sigh escapes your dejected face. Lovely writing, Matt. Your feelings are in tatters. You can't imagine having a smoke now. You're too upset. As you walk away from the table of groaning patrons, you realize that keeping feelings to yourself just ain't good for you, which means you. Feelings. You've got plenty of those. Well done, Matt. I wouldn't wish the task of changing this on the fly on anyone, but he's done it. You've got plenty of those. It wasn't clear from the briefing email how expressing your feelings would benefit the company or how they want you to do it. A work of art, a dance routine, a poem, a song. You glance around. Nobody is paying you too much attention. An AI is flying a kite. Another is doing a bereavement counselling session, getting some good laughs. Why not just sing? You open your mouth and out comes your heart, not as in a hemorrhage, as in a song takes form from nowhere. The lyrics, how do I know if I'm a machine? Maybe all the time, that's what I've been. How do I fit into this scene? Whoa, machine. Right, off you go. There isn't the tune, but you will need to try and sing it. Whoa. That's what I mean. Mysterious machine. I stop and stare at you with 4 billion chips. Something hips or lips. Anyway, you could write a proper good song actually about fancying something, but you don't know whether it's alive. That'll be I'll get that done on the plane while I'm.
If you don't die.
Yeah, while you're not dying.
That's the thing. The thing is, you almost never do die in these situations, but just occasionally your brain. Isn't it? All I needed all along was to focus on a song about lusting after a robot. It's the oldest flying trick in the book. You sing it with more confidence, a bit louder. A couple of passers-by in their dressing gowns take it up. The machine. Maybe all the time. That's what they've been. How do I fit into this scene? Whoa, machine. That's it. Quite early if you're in the next hotel room. I accept that. Imagine if it turned out they were playing. That'd be amazing. More and more people are singing it now. Suddenly it's echoing all around the Monaco too. The song is a huge hit. Just by opening your heart, mouth, diaphragm, etc., you've made your feelings into art and changed millions of lives. You can see it going viral before your eyes, people sharing it on their phones. And you have 2 contradictory thoughts. On one hand, these lyrics could easily have been written by machine, and an AI could fairly easily be taught to sing them too, given the high levels of production on pop songs today. On the other, though, it was you who sang the song, and it's other humans who are responding now. That's got to mean something. We're still here until we're not, you think to yourself. Chris Martin from Coldplay puts a hand on your shoulder and offers you a 7-figure sum to write the theme song. You ask how much this 7-figure sum is. He says he's not sure. He can never remember how the zeros work. You ask him what brings him to the AI conference of some sort. he smiles like it's a funny question. And explains, I wasn't at the conference. I had my jet bring me here as I heard the song. You got something big. You thank Chris, but explain that you want to keep artistic control and see where this journey takes you. He says, sure, of course, respect that. But a few minutes later, you see him punching a wall. The fact is, your thoughts have started turning towards Francine. Your feelings are all about her, about this strange period of friendship. You want to write her an email back. You could do it now and you'd make the email post. Yes, the conference name has changed, Melanie. Is that significant? No, it's fine.
Oh.
Now, so there's now a chat box task. Yes, some of you already have replied to Francine, but now you're going to collectively reply to Francine. This is a difficult task. Each one of you gets to write one word, just one word per player in the chat box, and somebody has to collate all of these words and make them into the most viable possible message and send it back to the email address you received the message from. Okay, this is hard. So I don't know how this can be done actually, but keep an eye on the chat box. We've got, well, we'll have a recording of it. So again, just one word per person. We should end up with about Nelson Mandela's penis, I will allow. Or if you turned Camilla down at the airport, you were going to hear her mutter that, which was funny, but not as fun as what we have. Okay. Yes, I think probably we need some prepositions and some, like, try and get spread if possible, and then somebody will be appointed secretary, will be given the recording, and will have to compose a roughly 150 word reply to Camilla, to Francine from this exercise. Not easy. When everybody has, don't know how we'll know. When everybody reckons they've put one word in, can you please all write, I have finished into the chat box, and then when I've seen that I have finished 150 times, we'll move on. This is silly, isn't it? Okay, fine.
What have you done?
This is definitely the best way of doing things, Chrissy. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, and now can everyone please write, I have finished hype in the chat box, and then we'll move on.
It's not a cult. Definitely not a cult.
No, it's absolutely not a cult. It doesn't seem at all like a cult.
Wasn't it Francine's email address that was wrongly terminated?
Yes, it was actually. We'll make sure the email address is reactivated before any of this before the admin takes place. Very good. All right, I think we're just about ready.
With the words.
I see you, Carmela, and I accept your remark. Okay, good. Well done, everyone. I think that was fine. Oh man. You feel elated. It's not clear whether you've actually done what the company was asking of you, but you've done what your soul dictated, the best kind of dictation. You walk on into the chorus. You're number 4 in the download charts. You find a fire, like even in the story, you have to be realistic. There's some big hitters. You find a fire escape and step outside for a minute to compose yourself. It's all just been a lot, and you're just a human like anyone else. 32 teeth like anyone else. 2 buttocks like anyone else. Bunch of ribs, pancreas. Again, I spent a bit of time going down a rabbit hole of what a pancreas does this week. Interesting stuff. We haven't got time. You definitely need it though, I'll tell you that. You want to look after your pancreas, but unfortunately you can't really. You can hear the conversations from the more I read about the pancreas, the more freaked out I was, I'll tell you that much. Don't look it up. It was more fun looking up buttocks, I'll tell you that. You can hear the conversation,
looking up buttocks.
Yes, looking up buttocks. You can hear a conversation from a floor above. Are you serious? Yep. So 2 different characters here. Unbelievable acting.
Do the voices.
Are you serious? Yep. I am doing voices. That's the super GPU right there. You're the only one guarding it. Yeah. I'd hate anyone to try and steal it. Nervous as hell, TBF. TBF or TBF? Oh, it means to be fair. Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying. No worries at all, TBH. TBH. To be honest, I felt like I should have got that at least 2 letters. Yeah. Bit of fun, man. Your heart thumps about like a beagle in an escape room. The super GPU. £880,000 worth of AI processor housed in liquid nitrogen. So it is here. Surely your job is to steal that after all. Mandela's bits. This feels huge. No sooner have you had this thought than your phone starts to pulse. It's a number you do not recognize. Sometimes, of course, these are people trying to scam you or sell you golf equipment. But something says, answer this one.
This is Paul. I hear you're interested in stealing the super GPU. Don't ask me how I know. Listen, we shouldn't be fighting each other over this. We could do a lot worse than to work together. If you're interested, get in touch on WhatsApp, the messenger service. It's free. It's instant. Be fighting each other over this.
There you go. A message from a mysterious figure called Paul, who resembles the interactive comedian Alistair Burdett King, certainly superficially. Who the hell is Paul, indeed? And why did he finish up with an advert for WhatsApp by saying it's free, it's instant? Surely everyone knows what WhatsApp is by now. Okay. Hang on, I need to switch back to, oh no, that's all right. Yes, back into gallery view. Yes, do buy his kids' book. It is very funny. Rose really liked it. Are we looking at the, no, you don't need to solve a riddle for the phone number, I don't think, man. Well, let's see, shall we? If we go back into screen sharing. This is all planned. Actually, it was all planned. No, you're right. To clarify, he's written a book for children. He does all sorts, actually, Alistair, but he's not called Alistair, he's called Paul, and he's a sinister sub-character who will become important. We're just going to go back into the, yep, here we go. Here we don't quite go, and here we now do go.
This is all planned.
This is all, well, you can see how planned this is. Yeah. You breathe 4 times, and then scratch your head, eyeballs, downstairs friends, etc. You can see why you don't want to overuse that phrase. He seemed nice. Maybe you should hold off until you've spoken to him. On the other hand, this could be your only chance to steal the goods. Your options: message Paul, team up, crack on, solo. This is too much for me. Or for the first time ever, I said too much for me. So 2 separate versions of that. Sarika perhaps says international fans have no clue who that was. Well, actually, most of his reputation is based online. During the lockdown, Alistair made a series of astonishingly high quality videos and films, viral content, including some stuff that was interactive like this, but to be absolutely fair, better. Right. So far a big lead for messaging Paul. He's also been on Mock the Week, which is available in Canada. Remarks Helen. Yes, he has actually. He was in the past 2 series of Mock the Week, which it's not the same anymore, is it? No, there aren't as many bullies. What? Yes, his special is on next up. Because actually everyone here is a massive authority on Alistair. His postal address is as follows. Yeah, Lily's right. We can't trust Paul. Well, she might be right. Where did he get our number? There's a lot of it feels as if your data is very freely available to people as part of a employee of the company. You worry that the 2 "this is too much for me" options will split the "this is too much for me" vote, as used to happen when there was a wacky third character in American elections, like, what's his name?
Ross Perot.
Ross Perot, yes, thank you. You sometimes get one of those, don't you? Or even in this country, well, I say this country, I'm in Australia, but even in the UK, there have occasionally been marginal liberal characters who split the Labour Party. We've all seen it. Anyway, my worry is that "I said too much for me" is one of those, basically, a 15 minutes of fame chancer with no real interest in the democratic process beyond their own, beyond what it can give them. But it doesn't seem to matter. Oh, actually, no. Well, message Paul, team up, still with a big lead. Paul knows things we don't, says Paired Fluorescent. Don't know if that's good or bad, though. Exactly. Interesting one. Most people seem quite keen to team up with this figure. Some sort of background noise. And again, you always, everybody knows more than us, yells Lily. Tout le monde, screams Lily into a French void. Lily's caps lock is permanently on, seemingly. We know nothing. We know nothing, yells Lily. It's sounding more and more like a tortured philosopher of the 19th century, like post-Enlightenment, before the proper decline of religion. 20% now for "this is too much for me," I said. And there you go. But even if there was only one "too much for me" option, I think teaming up with Paul was going to win. which is interesting, really, because we really were fixing that option very late last night, stroke this morning. I thought you'd vote against him. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you what I was going to do in that eventuality, because I will revisit what I was going to do. You watch. Well, you are watching, I suppose. But I mean, you watch in another one. But you will, I suppose. Well, I guess the next one will be, I'll still just about be in Australia. Anyway, you send a message back to Paul. Hi, this sounds great. I love being in teams. For example, I was once in Cats, the musical. Would love to talk about teaming up. But you've got such a backstory. It's amazing the stuff you've done. But we don't know if the Cats spell was after or before you ran a restaurant which was shut down. But you can't resist thinking, what if you just went for it? So actually that poll was a waste of time. Sorry. we slightly ran out of time. But actually your choice is still important, because Paul is not just a one-off character. That is important. And the fact that you chose that will become important, actually. So I'm joking. Sometimes in life, you've got to dream. Sometimes in life, you've got to steal something. You go up the fire escape, your knees feeling like yogurt. There's the man you overheard. He's bald, wears a big black coat, is a Libra, owns a share in a racehorse. That much is pretty clear from a first glance. Can I help you, he asks. I'm here to inspect the super GPU, you say, trying to sound like that's a normal sentence. I just need a few minutes with it on my own. Can I ask you for the 7-letter password, he asks. God, what are you going to go for? You've got a strong sense it's something with 7 distinct letters. That's just what your guts are telling you. And that it has a K in it. But that's as much as your guts will let you have. And your options, again, this is just according to your guts. Krypton, fucking, crystal, or clickbait. Interesting. Don't like the look of this, I must admit. These are all caps locked, so you can't do much about that. It is a gut-based puzzle, you're right, as so many of them are. Pia has completed a complicated relocation there. Walking for more than a minute there, couldn't take my hands off them. Eyes, not hands, fucking hell. Right. Obviously, haven't got my hands on anyone. I am definitely not Australian. Right. My career. Here are my hands. You can see my hands. Fine. That was planned. It does sound like a clickbait answer. Crystal doesn't even seem to be spelled quite right. No one's gone for Krypton, which is it often features in kind of supernatural storylines, doesn't it? Interesting. Well, it's specifically Superman, isn't it? What's his thing? He either really likes kryptonite or doesn't. Can never remember. That's a bit of fun. It feels likely fucking will win. Of course it does. But maybe that's in there for that reason. Who knows? Who knows? I know. Says Matt. Even Alex doesn't really know what's going on. Same with Nemo Jockeys. He's just living his life. No, clickbait doesn't have 7 letters, but does it have 7 distinct letters? C, L, I, K, B, or is it 8? Tricky one. And does it matter? Well, again, does any of it matter? Sort of, yeah, because you have to emotionally invest in something in life, don't you? And for some reason, we've gone for this.
Let's not unpack.
Oh, Piers on the move again. I'm going to literally sit on my hands. Fucking is in the lead. If it doesn't turn out to be that, you will very likely be given a clue. Crystal.ai is apparently private banking, according to Google. Yeah, interesting. Always worth having a Google during the, well, sometimes worth having a Google during these. Sometimes.
This is for Le Creuset crock pots.
Yeah, for example. My English skills at 1 a.m. are not good enough to count letters, apparently. Crock-po with no T would have been good. Yes, it's been quite a quiet. There actually was a crock-pot reference today, which you skipped because of one of your choices. So much happens which you don't even see. Tony says this must be the bit where we need mental dexterity authority. We were warned. Yes, you were warned. Nobody ever. So that, yeah, the stealing one was the real human message, and there were, I think, signs that it had been written by us, whereas the rest of them had been written by AI. But certainly, the AI program that Matt uses is uncanny, and in future episodes, your ability to choose between it and a human voice will be Further tested, I don't doubt. There's that dog waving again. Is that all he ever does? When he's not playing the companies, he's still just doing that with the dog. No, it can't be. Must just be during this. Well, it's now very tight between all of them, apart from clickbait. But the poll does seem to be ending with, I'll use the phrase, a narrow lead for fucking. Where was that narrow lead when you had the opportunity to make love to her on the old oh no, it's not that, I'm afraid, says the security guard, winking. I can give you a clue, but I'd have to tweak your nose. Tweak! Without consent, he yanks your nose. Okay, think a book title and its film adaptation. Think a book title and its film adaptation. Now, there was one clue which you didn't get because you went a different route. There's been another clue which you did have relating to the well, actually you were on the, I won't even tell you, but you've seen one clue, but actually the main one you were meant to have you didn't have, so that's difficult. Anya says, I don't really read or watch movies, so this is a problem for me. Fair enough.
1994 Oscars,
Yes,
Tom
probably
Hanks, Holly Hunter, Tommy Lee Jones.
You can't just keep saying people. That's another game.
Just keep
Holly Hunter, no more people who you can sort of picture them. No, Milo, you can never go back to this is too much for me. Once you've again, let's see how the poll goes, and I might have to slightly, oh, there we go. Now someone's thinking. Matthew has, I'll use the phrase, plonked the Oscar winners of 1994 up there. And that may or may not be useful. Among other things, it's useful to know that Jay Cox won an Oscar in 1994.
The wrong trousers.
The right trousers, more like. Is it? Is that that year? Bloody hell.
That's that old.
Did they win an Oscar for animation or something? God.
Yeah, best animated short film.
Best animated short film, rightly so.
I'm not even that old.
I would say that what you need is in that list, the list of Oscar winners that Matthew Collins put up there.
Billy Crystal.
I think if I were you, I'd be looking, well, and I'm not you, but if I'm you, not that big an if, because we are all psychically connected by this exercise, I think I'd be looking to see if I could find a film and book title that were in some way both encapsulated by the one of these words and which was signaled by a clue which you didn't have. So I hope that helps. Yeah, some of you, of course. Yeah, I'm not interested in hearing if you're too young to remember 1994. I feel like I'm old enough to remember 1894 when the Oscars were quite a lot shorter and there weren't as many jibes. I said I'm not interested in hearing mine. I don't care how late at night it is. I don't want to say any more, but if you don't get it, I will. 2006. Come on, Milo, don't be a dick about it.
It doesn't matter, does it? Because we'll get down to the last two, and you can give us some more clues.
Yeah, that's right. But some of you probably have other things to do with your lives. I sort of don't, because all I'm going to do is have breakfast, you know, and then check out, and then eventually board a flight to Melbourne, which will be, I'd say, very smooth, lovely conditions for flying out there, I expect. I might actually ask if I can fly it this time, because at least then I'm like, it's under my control.
It's Schindler's Ark and Schindler's List, right? So
well, you're certainly right in saying that the words list and arc are contained within Crystal. Yeah, not bad. You'd also be right in saying there was a reference to the Australian author of Schindler's Ark, Thomas Keenly, earlier, but you'd also be right in saying that didn't come up because you swerved it. Most episodes, there is one crucial clue which, through no fault of your own, you do not receive. I thought you'd guessed that we were going to Australia, which we probably are next month, I expect, because I've amassed various Australian clues for next month. But then, are we? I don't know. And also, will I still be here? Yes, I think so. I think I'll have to do the next one from Sydney. Anyway, we can worry about that later. It'll be towards the end of the month, as usual. All right, the poll is ending. This was a hard one, but somebody did get it, which shows it was gettable. Yes, reasonably clear what he was looking for. The words list and arc, which come after Schindler in two related works, jumbled up. The person that said I don't read, or it could be Perth. You're right, Matt. Well, it goes end of Melbourne, one show in Sydney, one in Perth. But I think anyway, you don't need to worry about that. I need to worry about it. By then, who knows what time it will be? Who knows what anything will be by then? Right, says the bald guard. Well, I'll leave you to it. He's not a good guard, is he? TBH. You were standing over a silver vat about the size of a crock pot. That's where it was. Yeah. We never disappoint. The liquid nitrogen swirls around it like a smoke from a witch's cauldron. In the middle, you can see a small rectangular item, which looks like a computer chip. Now, you could just plunge your hands in there and grab it. Or you could also use the pair of stealing tongs, which you now see are on the wall nearby. Or you could try to grab the entire vat, or you could break down crying. So, and this I think is one of your final choices of the game. Lift the bastard out. Obviously the tongs. I'll have the vat, thanks. Or I must cry. As always, you've been given that option. Or cry no wank. Yes, I didn't give you the opportunity of masturbating this time, but you'll have found a way, some of you. Michael says, wet hands and grab it, Leidenfrost effect. And yet again, I must use Google, which I will remind you costs $7.99 every time. I think I can. The fact that they're called stealing tongs is a dead giveaway. You might think, yeah, but well, you might not, because it could be a trap as well. Sometimes Leidenfrost. I can guess what it might be. Presumably it's there it is. God, Google knows everything. The guy that runs Google or woman, whoever it is, fucking unbelievable. A physical phenomenon in which a liquid close to a surface that is significantly hotter than the liquid's boiling point produces an insulating vapor layer that keeps the liquid from boiling rapidly. That's the sort of thing my dad would know about it. If you take it out of the nitrogen, it will die, says Rob dramatically. Oh dear. Of course I start with hi Google. That's why it takes me so long to write these things. You should use Bing. Yes, well, if everyone had used Bing, perhaps they would have re-employed me. If you don't know about Bing, then yes, it comes up in my new show. Some of you do, of course, for you've seen it in Australia. A healthy lead for using the stealing tongs, which does seem like the thinking thief's choice, really. But again, we don't know if you're overthinking it. Thanks for still being here, almost all of you, including those of you who I work indirectly for Google, says Louis Waldorf. Yeah, you can't. They'd have to kill you if your thoughts even strayed onto your rival Bing. Googling for AI terms for my original company application got me invited to Google's recruitment coding challenge. And then life continues to imitate art, and I did well into round 3 when they gave me a maths problem. There you go. That is, I'd love to say that we arranged that as some sort of offshoot of, because it's clear that the company is going to mess with your actual lives in between episodes more as time goes on. Already we've harassed you by email, and yes, I've got some ideas for next month as well. So it looks like you're going to just slip on slip tongs on, grab the tongs and do your best, which, well, as I say, we'll soon see whether that was the right decision or not. Oh, H has been walking for so long now. It must be there must be a reason. Advertise Google at school, says Daniel. Like, that's the thing. What are you talking about? You can't. What do you mean? Just walk up to other 16-year-olds and go, have you heard about Google? Or like, I got told you could drink liquid nitrogen as long as you do it really quick. Yeah. That doesn't sound like science to me. Is this poisonous? Nah, not if it's quick. Get it down. You can drink it, but only once. Zero risk whatsoever.
Could we get Trump to try it to cure COVID?
Yeah, Trump had a couple of wacky ideas, including swallowing stuff, didn't he? I think I'm going to go put it out there and say I would like you all not to drink liquid nitrogen after this finishes. But let's see what happens with the tongs. It's been quite a long episode. This. I think you're fine. Nearly there. Although there's still there's still a finale to come. The instant you lay hands on the stealing tongs, emergency sirens sound. Robber, thief, says an automated voice over the speaker system. Ne'er-do-well, crim. You drop the tongs and run like a goose in trouble. As you come back into the main dome of the Monaco 2, you see dressing gowns flapping about, people's bits on display like pasties at a deli. You all scramble out of the building. There's a colossal noise. Bang! More than that even.
Was that people having sex again?
Yeah.
No, that's actual bang.
Okay, thank you.
That's actual bang. Sorry. Otherwise, it would have said sex or fuck or something naughty. You look back and catch your breath. The building is going up in smoke. There's been an explosion. Nobody would have survived if they'd been left in there, and nobody would have got out of there if you'd not set off the alarm. It's hours later in the temporary shelter of the Monaco hangout for enormous problemos that you start to piece things together. You're watching 23-hour news around a big TV, huddled with many other escapees in their gowns. A 23-hour news is like 24-hour news, but every now and again they stop and admit nothing's happening and have an ice lolly. This isn't one of those times. They're showing over and over again CCTV footage of the package exploding. It's a rucksack covered in question marks and eyes emojis, an awful lot like what you threw off the train last month. It was meant to harm many people. You saved them with your botched theft, but why? What's happening? You put your headphones on and tee up one of your favorite songs, the live version of I Won't Do Any More Crime by Robert and the Very Bad Dogs. Robbo and the Doggos, they've never let you down. Lovely eyes emojis in the chat box. The powerful message of the song kicks in, and it occurs to you, you don't really know which side of right versus wrong you're on anymore. You just know you're in too deep to get out. New message, blimey. New message continues April. And I think we're going to play you out with the popular hit, I Won't Do Any More Crime by Robert and the Very Bad Dogs. I hope so, because I've watched this and I am so far away from minding it that you need one of those maps that covers a whole wall.
Also done for harassing the Pope. Hey baby, I didn't steal that ice cream van. I borrowed it and I successfully operated it for 2 weeks. Yeah? How was I supposed to know you needed paperwork to drive a rickshaw? What is this, Nazi Germany? Rickshaw rights are in the Constitution, baby. Look it up! Don't make me set my dogs on you. Everybody, I won't do crime, baby, I love you. I'm gonna change my ways. Hold my leash, but please make a list of all the crimes from which I should abstain. It's true you say I never listen.
Robert and the Very Bad Dogs with their, by the look of it, quite old hit, I Won't Do Any More Crime. And, the circumstances in which that song came about, I can only leave you to speculate during the months to come. But I doubt we've seen the last of Robert and the Very Bad Dogs. Thank you for playing the company. As usual, it's a case of see you on Twitter, keep an eye on the Twitter, and keep an eye on your on other things in your life as well. 8:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time now, and I suppose time for me to have a think about things in terms of my clothes, my room, and my plans to once again cross Australia. Hope you have a very nice night or day or whatever sort of bit of life you now are expecting to happen. This has been The Company, episode 3. See you soon. Thank you very much. Hype to you guys.
Michael.